Hello and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be doing some unseen poetry skills, how we can look at poetry and try to decipher what it means for our exams. So, what I'm going to teach you is the swift analysis. There's many variations of types of analysis that you can do for unseen poetry. This is just the one that I like to use. And so I split it up into two different sections. I use the Swift analysis to teach the scene poetry in my classes as well. And I will split it up into two different categories. I have the external analysis, which will be your title and your structure. And then your internal analysis will be then the bulk of that poem. So the structure, when we look at a poem, we usually see a poem, and if we are reading, we read from left to right, which means I teach my kids number your lines left hand side first, and then you'll count how many lines. Then you'll move to the middle, and then you'll try to focus on how many stanzas there are, and you'll write that down. And then when you move to the complete right hand side, that's where you will then do your rhyme scheme. And so it will look something like this. This poem is 14 lines, and automatically, if you know 14 lines, you'll know the structure would then be a sonnet. But you have to look at a rhyme scheme before you determine if it's a sonnet or not, because some people will just decide to write a 14-line poem and there's no real significance in the rhyme scheme. And so that means it's not necessarily a particular sonnet, but just a 14-line poem. But for this poem, particularly, this is William Shakespeare, and this is one stanza. You can see that there's no breaks in any of the lines, and the rhyme scheme is split up into three quatrains and a rhyming couplet. So you'll see that the day and the may will rhyme. So you'll start with A for line 1, B for line 2, A for line 3, and then you'll start to pair your lines like that for a rhyme scheme. And so when you look at structure, we look at these things. And the reason for that is, particularly with sonnets, you'll be able to determine your tone and your theme and what it will be about based on those things. But stay tuned for another video that will go in depth about sonnets. Moving on to our internal analysis. That means we're looking at word choice, imagery, figurative language, and the tone and the theme. Now, when it comes to word choice, we ask ourselves, why use a particular word? So we're not just saying, oh, look at this word and then what does it mean? It's why am I using uh, the word shall rather than I will? So shall will ask for permission. Will is almost I'm just doing it because I want to. So then we'll ask, why would the writer use the word shall instead of will? So that's where your choice of words will come in. Usually, choice of words is also emotive language. So that would add more meaning. If we look at the line where it says, sometime too hot the eye of heaven shines, why would I use the word heaven instead of hell? So we look at words which would give connotations and denotations. And so that would add meaning to the poem. Your imagery and figurative language would go hand in hand, because I would use a figure of speech to create an image. But I would also mean if I'm saying something figuratively rather than literally. So there you have to split. Your imagery is your figures of speech, because they give an image, because it would be the comparison. If I say it is hot as ice, then your comparison would not be good, because hot and ice is opposite. But if I use the simile of hot as the sun, then that comparison will then obviously marry one another and it will be unified. So that's where we come in with the figurative approach. Figurative versus literal. So when we talk about I'm so hungry I could eat a cow, that I don't mean literally eat a cow. Figuratively, it's a hyperbole, exaggerating how hungry I am. So there you can see how these two really do go together. And then your tone and your theme. A theme is an overall message or idea concept. So the theme of love, the theme of war, the tone of despair will go with war. The tone of admiration will go with love. So, tone is how you say something rather than what is being said. Because I can say, I'm fine, but the way I say it comes across differently. And then that is where punctuation comes in. So, please just be aware of all of these things. Also, please take note that this video is not to replace what your teacher is teaching you in the classroom. It's just for additional resources. Hope this video helped. Stay tuned for the next one. Like and subscribe.